right. What's good, everybody? We have an emergency podcast, even though we kind of did one with Tony Burton earlier, the real star of the show. And this is no disrespect to Tony, but the real star of the show is in the building, CR McGee. KD is traded. What are we doing? What are your reactions? Because we kind of went over it a little bit earlier with Tony earlier. I want to get your reaction. We can kind of pinball off each other.
I don't have one, honestly. Like it's cool. Like y'all got KD. Yay. I mean, he's 36, about to be 37. You didn't give up much for him, so that's what I like about it. I feel like you gave up Dylan Brooks, who's a really good defensive player, but you also gave up Jalen Green, who's one of the worst defensive players, so they kind of cancel each other out that way. And, I mean, I feel like it's better for Houston. You kept Ben Thompson, you kept Tari Easton, you kept Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepard, and you only gave up those two plus the 10th pick in this draft. I don't feel like that's a lot to give up. And, you're trying to give yourself a shot. Do I believe they're better than OKC? No. And ultimately, that's who you're going to have to beat for the next 5+ years. So
Right.
You got to do my age. Good luck. Hopefully it wins. Phoenix. I mean, you're Phoenix. You still have Bradley Beal. And unless you can find somebody to take that terrible contract, you're not going to do anything.
That terrible contract doesn't mean the same thing that it used to even 2 years ago is the problem.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, me personally, to get rid of Bradley Beal, I'd attach that damn pick with it. That 10 pick, like, look, I'll give you this if you take him in his contract and just hope it's a team that he'll waive his no trade for.
We'll see, and that's kind of what I thought. And we talked about this a little bit the other day was the Desmond Bane trade. Like, to me, I feel like KCP was like a lost contract, so you have to kind of staple a number one to it to kind of get it off your books because he's older. He's still a 3-and-D guy, but he's not a prolific 3-and-D guy. So you're like, all right, we'll give you the guy, we'll give you a pick. And it makes you kind of start to think about. So you say you don't like it at all from the Houston perspective at all, right? Like you gave up.
No, I like it. It just doesn't move the needle for me. Like I don't feel like KD makes them like, oh man, they're gonna win the championship. Like I don't feel like that. Like KD is a great scorer, but I don't feel like they were a KD away from the championship.
No, I don't need. Right, I don't either. And the whole thing, when Tony and I were on earlier, I initially said I hated this for Houston, and it's mostly because it wasn't really because of the picks. Mostly because like 5 second-round picks in the NBA doesn't really mean a whole lot. So I wasn't really that didn't shake me that much. To me, it was the 10th overall pick because even if you don't have a whole lot of faith in it, it's still a bargaining chip. And if you were willing to move those players anyways, you could have moved them for somebody maybe not better than KD in the moment, but for somebody. It feels like Houston, the way that I approached it with Tony was Houston overachieved this year, and they're trying to grasp at every straw to win a championship this year. And I feel like it's a little bit short-sighted. But that's the delicate balance, right? Win now versus play for the long haul. And Houston overachieved, but getting Kevin Durant to me right now doesn't feel like him, like you said, move the needle enough for it to put you legitimately into contention. But also, if you went to San Antonio, that wouldn't have done you any better either.
Yeah, the reason I do like it from Houston's aspect, like you got KD, but I don't feel like you gave up a lot. Like you still have assets to go and make another big move if you choose to now or even in the future, because you're gonna have to come off somebody at some point. Like not even just from a salary cap aspect with Thompson and Eason and Jabari Smith and Cam Whitmore and
Şengün, right?
You're gonna have to not only pay them, you really can't play them the way that they should be played. Like those are 30+ minute dudes, and you can't play them all 30+ minutes as you're currently constructed.
Yeah, with KD on the squad, no, you can't.
So they can go to what is the move? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe you want to flip all the young wings for Giannis. You still got picks. You only gave up this year's first round pick. Maybe you want to throw
All you gave was second rounders, really.
exactly. And those are what? How many second rounders actually stick? Not a lot.
We'll see, and that's the thing is, like the NBA is weird like that because either A, you need lottery picks, or B, you need to have really great scouting and management to be able to get anybody who's outside of that. Because really outside that top 5, top 10, we've had a lot of great basketball players, the Giannis's, the Kawhis, the Jokic's of the world. Like we've had Shea. I don't think Shea was a top 5 pick, was he?
No.
So I mean, like we've had these dudes who just because you're a lottery pick doesn't mean you're a slam dunk to be an MVP or anything like that. But it's kind of like when you have a top 5 pick in the NFL. It doesn't guarantee it, but it greatly increases your chances. Same like with quarterbacks. Like third round draft picks aren't the way that you should go. Can you win with them? Yeah. But the overall success is better pushed towards first rounders. And that's kind of what we're getting with the lottery and things like that. But so if you were to scale it on who you think won the trade, because I think that you and I both kind of feel in the same bracket of nobody really won it. It was just a move. But do you think that anybody did
Houston
come out better than the other?
Houston. Like I like Jalen Green, but it's just like the redundancy there in Phoenix with him and Beal and Booker. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to.
Well, what's weird now is that Houston fans now all of a sudden love Jalen Green now that he's moved.
Yeah, like I mean,
they were not happy with him up until about 6 hours ago.
I mean, shoot, I'd be happy. Like him and his baby mama gone. I'm tired of seeing her old ass on my screen. So, like, I mean, Jalen Green's nice. I like Jalen Green. He's just a terrible defensive player who is extremely streaky and inconsistent. Like, so I don't know what they're mad about. He's only 23. He can get better. He can become consistent. But right now, you got, arguably one of the 15 best players to ever lace him up. So you just have a short window to do it.
Well, and that was a conversation that me and Tony had earlier, was that any team that makes this move is doing it to do it now. And it just feels like Houston to me is a little bit premature on what their window is. You exceeded expectations this year, but that doesn't mean. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say they were crawling and they think they're ready to run, and it's like you got to walk first. So
well, and that actually brings it. Suns aren't keeping Green. I mean, maybe they will, maybe they won't, but they can't move off from him right away. Anyways, there's going to be some time that has to go by before they can even like re-deal him. But when it comes to what we were just talking about, moving on from, it was before Green. I got sidetracked from the chat.
Sure, yeah, it was moving on from getting Green and the redundancy and Houston loving Jalen Green now all of a sudden.
There was a lot of that. Yeah, I think we recapped it. I think that we may be being a dead horse at that point in time. I don't think the Suns might keep him. They may not. Doesn't really matter. But regardless, as far as like who you think actually won the trade, you do think it's still Houston, even though they got KD at such a later stage in his career.
Yeah, I mean, I think Houston still won. If I had to pick a winner, I'm just not. Like I said, I don't think that it's enough to like dethrone OKC. I don't. Now, I am happy that it came out. The secret suitors, Denver was one of them trying to get KD. That made sense. Denver's ready to roll.
You mentioned that last week, and I didn't think about Denver, but you mentioned that, and I thought that wasn't a place where I thought that he might potentially land up. But
yeah, I just don't think Houston's ready to roll right now. But they didn't give away any of their key assets, I believe. So they still can do something. I don't feel like they mortgaged the future to get KD, which is great for them.
Yeah, and I mean there can be two sides to each sides of the coin of this, right? Because if you're giving up, because to me, we talked about this with Tony earlier, was nobody thought that Dylan Brooks was getting a contract at all after his debacle. And I told y'all he was going to get a multi-year deal, almost the exact dollar amount as well. And that's exactly what he got. Now he got moved, but regardless, he's a guy that you still need on your squad. But he's not the same dude as KD, right? Like he's not as good of a shooter. He's willing to shoot, but it doesn't mean that he's as good of a shooter. Right. But you need the kind of a goon, the guy who's willing to mix it up. And again, Jalen Green was somebody who Houston fans weren't even all that super high on. And again, it's a bunch of second round picks. So maybe you can buckle it all in together and get another dude, like you said, like a Giannis, maybe. But I don't even know who wins this trade either, because to me, Phoenix got what they needed as far as like getting any picks back, because they didn't have any picks whatsoever after what they did to get KD and Beal. Just getting the second rounders, getting 5 second rounders isn't great, because we've seen guys like Mikal Bridges and Desmond Bane go for with multiple 4th and 5 first round picks. That doesn't seem great. But like you said, you stair step, you couple seconds with a player, go get a first or whatever you need to do. So Phoenix seems like they, in the long term, won. But again, Houston, if they don't win a championship this year, the whole thing is smashed, I feel like.
Yeah, you have 1-2 years tops to get this done with KD. And that's even if KD resigns. He has 1 year. This is the last year left on his deal. Last guaranteed year left. So who knows?
Well, and that was one of the things that me and Tony talked about, is like, are they going to give him one of those restructured contracts, or like the re-signings where it's 2 years, but it's just absurd, absolute bonkers money?
I mean, maybe they will. I personally wouldn't, for a guy with his injury history as of late. But hey, that's on them. They made the move. Stick with it.
Well, I think that one of the things that when it comes to the injury stuff is, one, yes, I know that he's been injury prone, but also it comes down to that. I mentioned this in the live earlier, is that the load management is a thing. It's something we talk about. So is it injuries, or just, hey, we're taking a day off because we're in our mid to late 30s? You know, there's times where it happens with him, and there's times where he's actually legitimately injured. But yeah, to me, it's almost like the Luka deal, where I know they could have gotten more back from Luka, but now that the deal is done, and now that the narrative changed so much about, oh, well, now he's fat and out of shape and Dallas doesn't want to pay him, and because the Lakers got cooked so early, and because of him, and because it got shown so brightly that of how much of a defensive liability he is, now people want to take Dallas's side more often than not, when they didn't when it first actually happened, because they liked Luka as a dude and as a scorer. But could you have gotten more back? Sure. And at this point in time, I don't know. Sorry, I got let me go back to the chat. Houston needs to go get some shooting, and they could contend, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, but what are you going to do now? If they need to get shooting, yeah, they got Durant, but again, that's a 1 year rental essentially.
Yeah, they don't get me wrong. I love Amen Thompson. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I don't know what they need. I just feel like what they have isn't enough. Like,
well, Van Vliet's also getting up there too, and he's not the most athletic point guard. I'm not going to diminish who he is as a point guard, but he's not create your own shot.
And he's diminutive. Like, he's a little guy. So
right.
Hell, I want to say he has an option to opt out right now. I'm not even sure, but they're missing something. They're missing something. If I'm Houston, I see if I can go flip something for Ja Morant. I don't know.
We'll see in that. So here, let me ask you this. So the trade market right now, it feels like it's downgraded because of John Morant's off the court issues. But for me, I've seen enough of his type of player in the past where they deteriorate really quickly. Right? The D Roses, the Kyrie Irvings, or not even Kyrie Irving. If you want, I know the D Rose one hurt you. Russell Westbrook. The people who are really fast twitch, really aggressive to the rim.
John Wall.
John Wall is a prime example. Like, I don't know why you'd think that he's going to get any better. So one, it's not even just the off the court stuff. It's the fact that he is now starting to get the injury bug label on him. Would you rather trade John Morant now? Because once Desmond Bane was traded, I said this the day afterwards. Look for them to trade Triple J or John Morant in the offseason. And I firmly believe that they will try to do one of those two things.
Yeah, I would definitely trade him now. Not that I don't think he's a hell of a player, but just I believe more franchises need to look in the mirror. Like, all right, what really are we doing? What really do we have? And if I don't think that we're headed if we're just headed to being stuck as a middling team, I say blow it up. Like, all right, you know what? We didn't do this right. Let's blow it up. And I know it's easier said than done because as a GM, your job is on the line. But your job is to do what's best for the organization. And sitting in the middle, like the Chicago Bulls have for the past, I don't know how many years, that ain't the way to go. Because then you get fans who are just indifferent.
Well, then you get fans trying to, they get too loud, and then the GMs listen to the fans, and then that GM gets fired a year later anyways.
Well, our GM just got an extension for some reason, So
speaking of the Bulls, though,
do we
pivoting? Well, we were talking about these trades that were going on, right? The Kobe White thing.
Yeah.
And you seemed what was the initial? Do you remember off the top of your head what the original request was and what you would have done? Because I was going back in my head and I was like, I wouldn't have done that. And then I go, you know what? I don't know. I got to think about it for a sec.
So the offer was Kobe White going to Orlando. This is before the Bane deal. They tried to do this before Bane.
Right. We got to understand the timeline.
It was Kobe White to Orlando for Jonathan
Isaac,
Cole Anthony, 2 first-round picks, and a pick swap. I personally would have done it just because I believe the Bulls need to bottom out. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, bottom out, rebuild from the ground up. You know, you want to reset. Kobe has 1 year left on his deal. He's making like $15 million a year. Like, he's on a bargain deal right now.
As a starter.
Right. And I feel like trade him. Trade him now while his value's high. You know what Kobe is. He might make an all-star team one day, but I don't see superstar. Like, trade him while his value is high and his contract is low.
So let me ask you this. Do you think the reason why they're buying, because recency bias is always something that we worry about in sports, not even just from the fans' perspective, but from the ownership. Do you think because he came on strong last year and he had a couple bonkers games, 30 and 40 pointers, 2 of them, I think, back to back. Do you think that they're trying to hold on to the fact that they feel like he's, once again, recency bias, overvaluing who he actually is and his limitations, like what his ceiling is? Do you think that, because I feel like he's reached his ceiling and won't really get exponentially better, but they feel like, oh man, he finally figured it out, bro?
No, this is an organizational flaw that's been going on for the past 20 years. The Bulls overvalue all of their players. They think all of their players are better than the rest of the league does. Come on, what was it? Almost 20 years ago, you didn't trade for Kobe Bryant because you didn't want to give up Luol Deng. Like, why? You didn't trade for...
Well, Luol did go to Duke, and Kobe didn't go to college. So, there's that.
Yeah. What was it? Even before that, you You had a deal in place to move up to the third pick to draft Carmelo Anthony. Okay, I get it. Jay Williams hops on a motorcycle in his career. That doesn't happen. But on draft night, you have another deal with Miami to move up to 5 to draft Dwayne Wade. You don't want to trade Donyell Marshall. So you don't make the deal and you draft Kirk Heinrich, who ended up being a solid player, but Dwayne Wade's a Hall of Famer. What else? What else have they screwed up? Hell, you
Okay, this is
believing in Patrick Williams.
This is therapeutic for you. Get it
You believe
all
in
out.
Patrick Williams, even though Tyrese Halliburton begged you to draft him, and now look where he's at, and Patrick Williams just sitting his weak ass some.
Dude, you hate Patrick Williams more than anybody on planet Earth, I'm pretty sure.
I was his biggest fan, but he just like he hasn't progressed.
He hurt you.
He pisses me off. I want to kick him in his balls with a spike. Like
those spike shoes you can get in 2K just, or GTA 5.
I want those old Dick Butkus metal spikes. Like that's what I want. Just stomp them in the.
That seems a bit over the top.
Yeah.
I can understand it though.
$90 million, Patrick Williams. But the Bulls are just a poorly run franchise. They're one of the worst organizations in sports. Michael Jordan was drafted before Jerry Reinsdorf bought the team. And outside that, he's just a terrible owner. Like you inherited Michael Jordan and you haven't done shit else.
I mean, it's been bad in Chicago. I mean, you could be Charlotte. You could be Utah.
I'd rather be them right now. At least Charlotte has Brandon Miller. Josh Giddey for underage girls. Like
Josh didn't get he did it giddy. I said this was therapeutic.
I hate, like, out of all my teams, I hate the Bulls more than anyone. Like, I hate Jerry Reinsdorf. Like, just go away. Go away. Let Jeff Bezos or somebody buy the Bulls. I don't care.
So, all right. I want to do a scale test for you real quick. On a scale of 0 being Jerry Reinsdorf, 08 Britney Spears, and then Snyder. Who would you rather have? 08 Britney Spears. Britney Spears, you want crazy 08 Britney Spears run your joint?
At least she had the so she couldn't mess up her own money back then. The conservatorship or whatever it's called. At least she had that. Jerry Reinsdorf just sits there and it pisses me off because the Bulls lead the league in attendance every year because these dumbass Bulls fans are so loyal.
Wait. So hold on. Actual attendance?
Yes.
Because the Marlins have done this for years as well. The Miami Marlins have skewed the books and cooked the books on how many people are actually there because you buy them and give the corporate offers and stuff like that. Have the Chicago Bulls actually legitimately led the NBA in attendance? Because I feel that hard to believe.
Every night the United Center is rocking because this is a basketball / football. Like in the winter here, what else can you do? You can't really go outside and do anything. Like, oh, shoot, the Bulls playing? All right, let's go. Like, the United Center is a fun place to be. Like, when the Bulls are good, you can't beat it. But it's like these idiots are so damn loyal and don't realize, hey, if you hurt his pockets, he'll improve the team. No. Keep going there. Keep buying those barbecue chicken sandwiches, and they don't even put barbecue sauce on it. They give you packets of barbecue sauce on the side.
Is that really what they do there?
Yes, that shit pissed me off, bro. I'm like, man, that shit pissed me off.
That's crazy. So now I'm not even sure who has it worse because you said when it's winter in Chicago, what am I supposed to do? And I'm over here like, yo, you're not kidding me, right? I live in Alaska. We're not doing that. But I guarantee you, there's no place in Alaska that says, "Hey, you want barbecue chicken? Here's some barbecue packets for your chicken." That is some disrespectful, shady ass, bro. That's
They
crazy.
charge $12 for a cookie in there, bro. Like Jerry
I've been
Rice was
saying,
making mad money.
I've been saying for a long time that I wish I lived in a place that had a professional sports team, but I also don't realize how expensive it is to go to one of those outings because that sounds awful.
Oh yeah, you can go to a White Sox game. You can go for a White Sox game, have a great time, and you won't even spend $100. But at a Bulls game, no,
Two, 300 easily.
easy. If you really want to have a good time and have drinks and eat and stuff, easy.
Anthony says move to Chicago. No, we ain't doing that. Well, I'm not going to. At least I'm firmly planted here. I couldn't leave here even if I wanted to. So, anything you want to add to this KD trade? I mean, we've been talking about just a bunch of random ass stuff.
I'm just happy going to Houston. I know there's some dope barbers down there, so hopefully he can get his hair together and not look like he got taco meat on top of his shit.
It is pretty bad though. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is like someone would say, what can you say, Prescott? Well, I'm Prescott Van Pelt. I don't have any hair. Like I'm good. Like I ain't got to worry about that taco meat thing going on. But now I'm from Texas originally. So I might want to actually, I've been talking about moving down, or not moving down there, but visiting down there because I have family in the Houston, Dallas, like the tri-state type of area.
Mm.
And I might actually want to go down there and actually see KD hoop. Because I haven't seen a professional basketball game. I don't think, actually, no, I've never seen one. I met professional basketball players when I went down to California on my sophomore year of high school when I was on there for a basketball trip. But that's the only time. I've never been to a professional hoops game before.
Damn. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was spoiled growing up. My grandfather, God rest his soul, was a really good barber, and we had we had season tickets to the Bulls during the Jordan era. So like I've seen a lot of games in person, and like I said, I was spoiled. So that's why this crap that I'm watching pisses me off.
Yeah, man, and I can understand that. Like I've only been to one professional football game in my entire life. And that was Bills Ravens. And it was the season after Willis McGahee left to go play for the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
And you can imagine you can imagine the personalized jerseys
with the super dark visor and everything. He looked cold. Yeah.
He looked cold, but the thing is, like, his last name is McGahee. Imagine the personalized jerseys that Bills fans were able to make out of those. I saw a lot of them.
I got one in the basement, a Bills McGahee jersey.
Really?
And I got a Bills Marshawn Lynch jersey down there too. Not a Bulls fan. It just went with the fits that I was rocking at the time. So.
Hey man, man's got to have a code. I can appreciate that. Ryan Davis says no time for a haircut for KD, only time for buckets. Yeah. Man, and I know that he's a Suns fan, and as a Suns fan, man, you shouldn't even be. Well, maybe he appreciates him more than others do. I don't want to speak for Ryan Davis.
Ryan, I feel like y'all don't have no barbers down there. Y'all had KD looking worse than he usually looked.
He wasn't down there that long. I remember. No, I think the worst haircut version of KD was probably Brooklyn. Right? Maybe it was just Kyrie with all of his we just trying to, get rid of all the bad vibes in Boston and everything else like that. Maybe Kyrie just wore off on him too much.
Hell, I'd trade anybody on the Bulls for KD right now. Just give me some excitement, even if it's only for a year.
And this is why I love you, man. Like, we're supposed to be entertained. We can talk about the longevity if we want to.
Right.
We can also talk about the real time. Like I'm 41 years old, man. I just want to be entertained.
That's it. Like at this point, here's the thing. If I never see the Bulls win another championship, I'm fine. I saw them win 6. I'm old enough to remember them. So
that's right. You have to see all of them. You fucking suck. You got to see all of them, dog.
I
Like you
want
were
to
here
see
for
them
them.
be competitive. Like I'm a competitor in my heart. So just seeing them go out there and like, man, it's like watching my sons play these little pickup games where you can't fast break and you're not allowed to steal the ball. Like that, it's crap.
Yo, that I'm not gonna lie, dude. That shit irritates the hell out of me because like my son only played hoops in like at his level for like 2 years. Same thing. And I'm like, what are we? That was when he was 6 and 7 years old. I'm like, if you want them to get good, like let them play.
Yeah.
This is stupid.
Yeah, it was terrible yesterday.
Idiot.
He literally stripped. It was a nasty strip he had on somebody, and he was driving, and they blew the whistle. No fast breaks. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like,
Bro, this all the other MAGA stuff needs to go away. This is why we need to make America great again. Let kids play sports again. I let them compete.
He tipped the ball away with his left, went around the dude with his right to grab it. I was like, oh, okay. And ref just blew it dead. I'm like, man, this is the last time he'll be in this league. Let's put it that way.
So you're just yanking him out and going to a different.
Oh, he's gonna finish.
You have a bunch of different options though in Illinois though, don't you?
Yes and no. Like, can I do travel basketball? Yeah.
Do you want to?
I got too many. Like, I got so many other obligations with the rest of the kids. I can't do it right now. Like, my daughter was doing competitive cheer, and it's like, man, we got to drive her to St. Louis for a competition. Like, I can't do it right now.
No, and you shouldn't be driving her to St. Louis for any reason anyways, because I know how you feel about that dirty ass city.
Yeah. That was a mom trip. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Girls trip.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Well, before we get to game 7, we kind of, I think, do you have anything else you want to add to this KD thing before we move on to actual game 7? What you think we need to have to happen before the actual tip off?
KD haircut is still better than St. Louis.
So every time we got CR on, we have music where he basically does a whole Detroit. Now we have to do something with St. Do we need new music for St. Louis?
Detroit's better than St. Louis. I've been to both cities. I'd rather. I'd rather be homeless in Detroit than own a house in St. Louis.
Oh my god.
Like, dirty ass city, nasty ass food. Eat toasted ravioli and wear jorts. Everybody walking around looking like John Cena.
Do you know anybody in St. Louis that would want to be on the podcast, and then you guys can both kind of fight each other?
And some people from college, I'll ask them. Like,
who?
Some people from college, I'll ask them. Yeah, I know a couple.
Look, man, you because you keep throwing jabs at St. Louis more than you do Detroit, and I just need to know if I need to have a new instrumental for St. Louis as opposed to Detroit.
Look, man, we can have a handicap match. I'll take on both of them bum ass cities. So
we don't need 100 men versus
no, man. It's
a gorilla. We'll just take everybody versus CR.
Let's go. I want all the smoke.
Let's get it.
With their bum ass team. Like, you named your team the Blues, the St. Louis Blues. Like,
you sat already.
St. Louis ain't even known for the Blues for real. Like, get out of here, like, man. Get out of here. The Blues, the Cardinals. How y'all steal our state bird and name your team after it?
There's that. And stealing teams.
Them. St. Louis. I'll take a dump on that arch and just let it drip down. It'd be the best thing to ever happen to that city.
Oh my God. This is why I love having you on, man.
Let's tag the city of St. Louis in here. I want all the smoke.
Well, we need that's what I'm saying. We need to have people from St. Louis and Detroit. We need to have a panel. What I need to do is I need to have a panel because I can have up to 6 people on. I want to have I want you and me, two St. Louis, 2 Detroit people, have a panel of 6 of us, and then I'll be the arbiter. I'll be the mediator, and I'll kind of keep things under control. But I want to see y'all just go and do battle with each other.
So let's go get Jason Tatum and Chingy for St. Louis.
Jason Tatum and Chingy.
We can get Eminem and Kid Rock for Detroit. Like,
actually, why Jason Tatum? That was a weird one for me, especially because you said
you're always repping St. Louis. This should be pissing me off, man. Like, sit your yellow ass down, man. Like,
I just thought it was weird because you said Jason Tatum and Chingy,
yeah,
and Kid Rock and Eminem.
Yeah,
that's a Detroit waxing.
Oh man, I smack both of them. Like, man, I ain't
no, no. I just mean like that doesn't feel like a fair fight. Like well, I guess if it's a triangle, St. Louis and Detroit versus you, like if it's a one versus
that's all I want. I want all the smoke, and I
will do my best.
Do all of them like Papa Doc. They're all Papa Doc to me.
Well, tell you what, I will do my best to get Jason Tatum, Eminem, and Kid Rock on my show.
Don't forget Chingy.
Well, Chingy, I feel like he'd be easy to get.
Yeah. I'll smack him right third. So like, let's go.
And let down his her. So game 7 tonight, we got about an hour and a half, I think, until tip off ish. You got any takeaways?
I'm excited.
I'm excited too, man. Virginia back up in there.
Okay. No, you just came from outside. You smell like outside. Thank you. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good game. I pray it's not a blowout. I don't know. I like the momentum that Indiana has. Like, I feel like all the pressure is on OKC.
It's weird how game by game, our views of the game and the series and everything like that changes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think OKC wins, but man, they got a lot of pressure on them to do it. Like, you were the best team in the league. You had one of the best defensives in NBA history. And you got smacked in game 6 when you could have won the championship. Now it's it. This is it. So
Anthony McBride comes in as Finals MVP, and we talked about this the other day, and because you were on the show Thursday, and I'm not sure if you feel the exact same way about it. I think that we, at this point in time, both still lean SGA will win MVP because he won regular season Western Conference.
And he's played well.
He's for sure. But we also put out into universe, like, what if Jalen and look, Playbook Podcast looks at everything from everybody's angles. What if Jalen Williams has another 35, 40 point game? And SGA has 20, 25. And OKC wins. I could see Jalen Williams winning. If Indiana wins, period, this feels like it's a Siakam win.
Absolutely. I feel like for Indiana, you can't choose anybody other than Siakam if they win. And even second for Indiana, I'd say is TJ McConnell. But
that's not going to happen though.
No,
he's not going to win Finals MVP. But
yeah,
do they have a final six? There's no final 6 man, right?
No. If it was, he'd be the first one to get it. But it's
almost like when you win Super Bowl MVP when you lose. There's only like one dude whoever did it.
Yeah. Just like the NBA. What was Jerry West the only person that ever won the Finals MVP in a losing effort?
I think he did it multiple times in the NBA, but we've only like when it comes to football, we've had I think only one person ever win Super Bowl MVP in a losing effort as well. But hold on, let me go back to the chat real quick. I have to give Indiana more credit because I thought 5 or 6, which I appreciate because that was something that was very much articulated out in the universe. But I appreciate the owning of that. Then he should get the Finals MVP. I'm not sure what he's talking about there. Siakam, but McConnell been fired. Like McConnell has been awesome. He's been great off the bench. But to me, I don't see how you can have him as Finals MVP though.
Yeah, no, he will. It definitely be Siakam. Just like for OKC, it's definitely going to be SGA. I just feel like Jalen Williams needs to get some love because he's been great outside of game 1. I think
in some of game 2.
Yeah, but he's been great defense, and I don't think that he's getting enough credit for playing really good defense. That's why I say he should get some credit. Like, yeah, SGA scoring, that's what he does. Jalen Williams been doing everything and stuff in the stat sheet.
Yeah, no, and I just as far as like Finals MVP, it feels to me that because I love having your dogs pop up, but they're just it's so damn random. No, I know because SGA won regular season MVP and Western Conference, it makes sense that he has the momentum to win Finals MVP if OKC does. But if he's not the best player, I feel like we should be able to put the biases aside and say if Jalen Williams deserves it, then he deserves it. I just don't know if that's how it's going to go down because that's not usually how it does.
No, Jalen Williams will have to have a 40-point triple-double tonight.
Exactly. And that's what we said on Thursday as well. He's going to have to just play out of his goddamn mind and just be stupid tonight to be able to knock SGA out of winning Finals MVP.
I feel like if we wanted to do the least likely to win Finals MVP, it had to be Chet Holmgren. Like, Chet has been so hot and cold all series.
Well, so is Hallie, and that's what we were talking about earlier. It's like Hallie's the same way. He's been super hot and cold. Like because you know that if Indy wins, there's going to be a big push for Halliburton to get it because he's the bigger name. But Siakam should be the dude if Indy wins, and there really shouldn't be any conversation about that.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at what Anthony said. Does SGA become the face of the league if OKC wins?
I say no.
I don't think so because I don't know if he has the personality to be the face. Like, the face usually has some vibrancy to it, like the Michael Jordans, the Kobes, the LeBrons. I don't know if SGA has that personality. Like, to me, the natural choice is Anthony Edwards, but I don't think he's the best role model. So I don't know. Like, LeBron's still here. As long as LeBron's in the league, he's the face. It's just what it is. When he goes, I mean, we'll see who takes the mantle.
So when it comes to face of the league, and I've kind of gone over this a multitude of times, is that one, I think that not the narrative, but just the storyline of face of the league needs to matter as much. I don't think it does because we want to push and what does face of the league even mean? Oh, so you have to be family oriented, but you also have to be a top 3 player, but you also have to be a champion, but you also have to be. It just feels stupid to me. Like where do we draw the line on this stuff? Because if we're talking about the guy charismatically, it's Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
but he has been. I don't want it because he doesn't want everybody in his business. Shea, to me, when you look at how good he is and how good and what he does, yes. But the problem to me, as far as like when you want somebody to be the face of it, regardless of how you want to do everything, is that to me, he's too mature. He handles things too well where it's not necessarily as fun because it's not as engaging. So if you could mesh everything, if you could actually put SGA, and Anthony Edwards together. I think that would, from the way that they play, from the way that they handle themselves and mesh it together, I think that's the perfect guy. But there isn't anybody. Anthony McBride says family oriented eliminates Edwards. But that's the whole thing, though, is like we've seen this. Like the whole face of the NBA has been Braun forever. And then it was supposed to be Curry for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had the whole family. And then it was Giannis with his brother. And then went back to Steph for a bit. And then it went to Jokic with his horses. And then it went to, we as a society and NBA fans can't even define what we want as a face of the league. I just feel like the whole notion of having somebody have to run. Jason Tatum is now no longer even in the equation. I know he got hurt and he's going to be out for next year, but he's never even really in the conversation of it.
No, Jason Tatum is the most disrespected player in the NBA. Like they treat him like he's a bum when he's obviously one of the best players in the world. So, hell, Jason Tatum should be a face of the NBA, but I feel like so many people don't like Jason Tatum for whatever reason.
It's a light skin. Just go ahead and say it, CR.
Honestly, Jason Tatum's one of my favorite players. He's one of the, even though he's from dirty ass St. Louis, I love Jason Tatum. He's on that.
I have my own issues
with like Mariah Carey up there. Like,
now I have my own issues with Jason Tatum, but it really, for me, it really is that. But it also kind of comes back to the point of the point I've been trying to make is that this just further proves how good the talent is now, as opposed to it's not watered down in the NBA now. And I'm not trying to do the whole discrediting Michael Jordan's era or whatever. It's like I'm done with that bull. I'm not even trying to do that. But the rules are different, and whatever you want to do. But the talent level is so exponentially higher now than it's ever been. And so to say that we can't define one person as the face of the league just shows how good it is, because over the last 10 years we've had the argument of 5 different dudes.
Yeah. And then, with social media and things like that, I feel like it makes it less important to have a face as opposed to faces. And I believe that's what we have right now is faces and not a face.
Right.
Like this up and coming generation, like the obvious person to take it if someone's going to do it is Wemby. But he's only 2 years in. And it remains.
He's also not a person. He's an extraterrestrial. He's a
right.
Goddamn alien.
Right. I mean, I seen him. He was over with monks and stuff. Like, bro, what?
I saw that. I was like, this dude is a real life Dalzim from Street Fighter, bro. Like that is he's learning.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. Let's turn down Tots. Thank you.
Let's turn down what?
She's watching Tots on her iPad. Oh, now she wants to get in the camera.
What's Tots? I've never even heard of that.
It's like, so it's a little cartoon where there are little animals and they have to be dropped off to their parents, like by storks. So, yeah. Now she said, okay, go sit at your desk, please. Thank you. All right.
Anthony, I will not stand for that. He goes, that's a very valid statement, CR. I've been saying this not just because it's not just I've been saying we don't need a face of league because there's no face of league, and now you want to. Anthony McBride, I love you, and I will.
Why not Jokic?
Write a sterling worded letter to you.
Jokic doesn't want it at all. All he wants to do is he wants to just play basketball and check on his horses.
But that's why I said, like, we had this whole thing about why we went from like LeBron to Steph to KD to Giannis to Jokic. I didn't hear you say that, chill, bro. No, I mean the actual podcast episodes, good sir. That is mostly what I was talking about. But you're right. Like, I didn't say it anywhere in this mentions, but I've been saying for a while is like we don't need a face. We just have to appoint it to somebody. But no, we don't. We don't have to because the league is in good hands. It's very much in good hands with a bunch of talented dudes. And if one dude doesn't just want to take it over, that's fine. And because, like you said, with social media the way it is, every team is going to have its own favorite player, and we're just going to pick and choose and nitpick who's great at one thing and bad at another. Anyways, it doesn't really matter.
Right, because when we were kids, we would grow up looking forward to like, oh, Michael Jordan's on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and oh, Michael Jordan's on the cover of GQ and like it's not like that. There are so many outlets now, and it's so such accessible. We don't really need we know who everyone is. We know everything they do, every move they make. There's no like, oh, did you?
Right.
There's no water cooler talk about it because everybody knows everything.
So I want to ask you. So like, you're born and raised in Illinois, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jordan was probably your dude from the get-go, right?
No, like my favorite dude. No.
So who's your favorite dude growing up?
Penny.
Really interesting.
Yeah, I love Penny. And he was dating Tyra Banks. Absolutely. Yeah, I love Penny.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was knocking her back before Chris Webber. So,
and before Doug Christie's wife.
I just heard
God.
that. Hey, I was.
That's.
Hey. Better than me.
I mean, I guess so. I didn't know any of that even happened until probably 3 weeks ago.
That was a violation. I have never knocked back one of the teammates.
That's a technical foul.
Well, damn, I lied. But we wasn't friends. We just hooped together, so that don't count.
Damn, bro. No, like that surprises me because you're 3 years younger than me. You're 38, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But that surprises me that Penny was your favorite player growing up and that Jordan wasn't.
It's just like when you're used to it, like that's all it's like, all right, cool. Then you get this new guy who's 6'7", can handle the ball, shoot it. He's playing with shit. Like, who didn't love Orlando in the 90s with him and Shaq?
Early Shaq, not only that, but the sick commercials with Blackstreet, Little Penny.
Right.
That was a wrap.
Penny was my guy. Still is my guy.
But so one, I want to get to the chat real quick because Anthony says, "Is that true?" I'm not sure if he means about the whole.
I think the Doug
Chris Webber smashing. Yeah. From what I understand, I need to see a picture of this kid because boy, if that's true, I don't know. But from what I understand, and I don't know if they had a kid together. That part I don't know 100%. But from what I understand.
Give me a second.
I got you. So CR had to dip out for a second. And then he says, I need to see pictures of the kid. So again, I don't know 100% if they had a baby together, but I have heard recently that Chris Webber was basically smashing Doug Christie's wife for a while. You can Google that as far as if there's offspring involved. I can't attest one way or the other to it.
Sorry.
So was that just the DoorDash? You asked the DoorDash person to not ring the doorbell, and they did it anyways. Is that what happened?
No, that was the missus coming in, and she had her hands full.
Oh, so I'm glad that you did the husbandly thing, and you went. So no, like, and I'll wrap this up quickly because I know you got fam going on. I know for me, like when I was a kiddo growing up, my favorite player growing up was Charles Barkley. I wore number 33 or number 34, and he wore number 34. And I was just kind of this big fan of the undersized guy because I didn't grow to 6'3" until I was 20, like right at that 20 mark probably. I was undersized as a hooper growing up, but him and I wore the same number, and like that was my dude. Like LeBron's my favorite player, Jordan's my favorite player. He's my favorite player of all time, and I don't appreciate everything he has to say about Texas women, but he's not wrong in every every aspect either. Hi.
Those big old girls in San Antonio.
When he said that, dude, it's just. But is there anything you want to go and wrap up the episode with? We're not even episode. We're just hanging out talking sports.
Let's see.
We can hang out if you need to, man. We got
the first pick.
Well, hello there.
And the 2042 WNBA draft just came on the screen. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forget my thing's reversed.
Yeah. So she is that little baby Juju Watkins right there. So she'll be coming to a screen near you soon.
You said 2042.
Yeah. She got to finish college. So.
Yeah, but I mean, 2042 would put it at 17. Oh, so you want her to like finish college?
Yeah.
Like this isn't like
WNBA players make $16.95 an hour, so you need to get her degree.
Well, luckily, by the time, because how old is she then? Like 7?
5.
Okay. Well, by the time that she gets to where she is, I'm sure it'll be higher than $16.95 an hour. That minimum wage is going to creep up.
You know, we might. I don't know. We might not be the United States of America by then. We might be the United States of Iran. So we'll see.
Yeah. The Gulf of America is. It was a short-lived thing in American history.
Yeah. So, but we're calling.
Yeah, I love that. Anthony appreciates your $16.95 an hour. It's going to be at least double that. He says my daughter's 5'2", and they'll see each other one day, and I hope they do. I will say this: I've seen young Joe, who is Anthony McBride's son, play high school hoop.
Dog,
dude, he's an absolute dog,
and he smacked me.
He's crazy, dude.
And I've yet to beat him in college football 25, so I can't wait for college football 26 to come out. I want all.
So you can lose to him every time then too.
Look, I play Lil Joe better than everybody. You can ask Anthony.
I don't want to play any of you guys, honestly.
No. Lil Joe scores like 100 points on dudes like every game. Like
I've seen the box scores. Like me and Anthony don't agree on everything, but the one thing that we do agree on is that his kid can hoop.
Yeah. He can hoop. He can play football. He's gonna go D1 in football. So yeah, that's an athlete right there. I'm trying to get some NIL funds together for him to go to Illinois. So
hey man, I'm always looking for new guests. I'm always open to promote businesses and everything else in between. So if young Joe wants to be on, I got you, my man.
Right. He can announce his college decision on the podcast. Let's do it.
Oh, that'd be dope. I'm sure that he has better things to do and ways that he could announce the way that he's going to go to college, except for my lame ass podcast that is up here in Alaska. I mean, it'd be dope for it to do it, but I'm not gonna put that kid's feet to the fire because that seems like it's a little bit of a stretch. Anthony says it'd be dope. I mean, I'm good with it. I just don't. I can understand why the kid wouldn't want to do it, though, and I don't want to put him in a position where he feels like he needs to. Like how you look back. I was looking back. I was like, "Oh, is Anthony right behind me?"
No, I saw Braxton in my back.
It's always weird when you said that you see Braxton behind you because my son's name is Braxton, and it just bugs me the hell out. I'm like, "Oh shit, is my kid right behind me too?"
Yeah, we're gonna do that Braxton pod one day.
I think that'd be fun, man, because it seems like they have the same kind of vibe, same kind of video game. They're in the same age group, things like that. I think that'd be a fun project.
Or maybe they play something on Twitch and we do the commentary.
Yo, I would love that. Have them play, but we are the ones doing the commentary. Yo, look at this kid. He sucks ass. Look at him. He can't build that wall, dude.
BB
Switch
and
the other gun, dog.
Braxton Black and Braxton White. Let's do it.
Blackston and Whiteston. Sorry. I've been hanging out in the chat too long, man. I got too comfortable.
Yeah, that's all good.
I'll tell you what, man. I'll let you go ahead and hang it up again. This wasn't like an episode. This was just a little stream. I appreciate you, man. And hey, good luck tonight and good luck on your parlays. What we need to do is when we get further into football season, because I have P. Scott's picks, we can do CR's. We need to have a fun name with you, like the way that you make fun of Detroit and then make your parlays as well.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get there. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Stay up, stay blessed. CR, thanks for joining me up for about an hour or so of your time. Thanks to you, Anthony, and everybody else who was in the chat. I'll catch you guys on the next one.